Her designs help women feel beautiful from the inside out. Words like graceful, free, confident, those are expressions of Aradhana, a jewelry designer from India. She's lived in Indonesia and Shanghai, where she discovered the healing power of gemstones, both in her work and in her own life. If we're all the sum of our experiences and the nature that lives within our hearts, then Aradhana by Arra Designs is a special testament to the potential that lives within each of us. If, and that's only if, we dare to be open and to search for our dreams. This is her story.
Welcome to Sipping on Stories, where we take you into the lives of diverse and unique change makers who turn anxiety, fear, and passion into powerful recipes for success. Good stories build insightful connections, but great stories, now that's something special. Today's story is one of those stories.
Hi, welcome back. My name is Rose McInerney. I am your host for Sipping on Stories. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and circle back at the end of the podcast so that you check back on our website, sippingonstories.com, where you'll be able to learn more about today's guest, as well as some related links and possibly even some special announcements or some really cool swag. So today we are sipping on the story of Aradhana and chakras. Chakras is a term that some of you may have heard before. It is often associated with the 7 parts of the body. They start from the root or the base of where your feet are, and they go up to the top of the crown of your head. Why are chakras a big deal right now? They're associated with healing. So there are Reiki masters and all kinds of people in the world that do hands-on healing for people suffering from stress, anxiety, depression, particularly at stressful times like what we're experiencing in the world with COVID right now. So these chakras are centers that many really healers tap into. And there's also chakras associated with different places where you actually are in the world. Just from personal experience, I can tell you, I did a climb this past year of Kilimanjaro. And when I got up to the top, they call it the rooftop of Africa, and you look down, I have to admit there's something really special about that feeling. And of course, it's relief. It's taken me 7 days to get up there, but it's something else. It's a little surreal, and it's this sense inside that you are connected in the world in some special way. So that's what we're going to hear about today. We're going to hear about Aradhana's story just as an entrepreneur and just being open to the universe and starting to explore the idea of what it is that she was meant to do here. Why was she put on this earth? And so she gets into jewelry design and starts taking steps forward and finds that the actual process of finding gemstones and then bringing them in, learning about them, becomes a very healing process for her. And I think that's really interesting. So today when we talk with Aradhana, one of the things we like to do in exploring whatever the subject is what they like to sip on. So when I asked Aradhana, she said, I love coffee. So she's a girl after my heart because I love coffee too. I love everything about the smell. I like the sound of the beans grinding. I love the nuances. There are certain coffees where you almost feel like you can taste something just super earthy. And of course, they give you a little pump at the beginning of the day, so nobody minds that. So we're going to sip today coffee, and coffee is the perfect reflection as well of Aradhana's story because coffee is grown in all parts of the world, on every continent. And coffee tastes a little different depending on where it's grown. It's the atmosphere in the air, it's the temperature, it's the earth, the climate zones, all those things, how long the beans have been growing, how they're harvested. So everything about coffee in many ways speaks to the idea of gemstones, our process in life, and our healing. So I am super excited to welcome Aradhana on to Sipping on Stories. Welcome to Sipping on Stories. I am so excited to welcome our guest, Aradhana. She is an incredible jewelry designer from India who has traveled the world and has so much to teach us about gemstones, the art of being open to joy in life, and the healing powers of what it means to live every day with grace and with freedom and a sense that anything is possible. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rose, and thank you for having me here today.
It has been, I think, about a half a year or possibly even more.
Actually, January.
Was it January when we first connected? Yeah. What drew me in was twofold: your story, the fact that and we'll get into this with our listeners a little bit about how you came into being as Arra Designs, I think, but also just the way you live so joyfully and openly. It was like your spirit flipped off the page and through your Instagram feed, which, by the way, is spectacular. It's beautiful. Where did this all start for you?
So it all started when I got married and I joined my husband in Jakarta. He was already working there. And I come from a business family. So never sat still. Always worked. When I did my master's as well, I was working. And my mom was a working woman. She was a clothes designer.
Okay.
And she was a clothes designer in times when it was unheard of a woman traveling overseas.
Wow.
So, my inspiration was my mother. And my father, my family was very progressive. We come from a small town, but my parents and my family was very progressive.
Yeah.
So I studied in a boarding school. I came to Delhi in a big city, stayed here, studied here.
Oh, I didn't realize. Okay, I had no idea you had this business background. I know you did work with your husband, but this does sound quite unusual, really, for women. I don't want to stereotype because I don't know, but do women do this? How many women are forging their own businesses and doing what your mother did generation ago?
In those days,
right?
In the 80s and the 90s, it was unheard of. Traveling overseas alone, doing business. And my mother did it. And she started when she was 40.
Wow. So she started later in life too. Okay. Wow. Hats off. So you get married, and I know that the travels. Yeah. What happens?
My husband, before the Jakarta crisis, which everybody knows, the 1998 crisis, decided to go for his own business. And that's where I started helping him. And he used to do fabrics, and I started trading in commodities. Wow. And I still remember when I started it, one of his friends told me, this is not a woman's world where you're getting into. A woman can't do trading in commodities.
Wow. In commodities.
I said, okay, if that's it, I'm going to do it. So I took it as a personal insult and a challenge, and I did it.
Good for you.
And then my husband decided to move to Shanghai. That's where he decided to set up his restaurant business.
Okay.
And being in the restaurant business, I would wear my mom's clothes. People would come to me and say, can we get this from somewhere? I would take personalized orders. And I was always a numbers person.
Yes.
I never imagined I could be a design person.
Right. Well, because this is creative. I know you can be creative maybe with numbers on the books, but this is a whole different type of creativity, isn't it?
I used to handle the entire admin and the books for the restaurants. And then I opened up a store in Shanghai where I started importing from Thailand, Vietnam. And that's when I got into jewelry. I started with clothes.
Okay.
And then I got into jewelry. And then the story began, and I started buying stuff from various jewelers, and again relocated to Jakarta back again in 2011. And I decided, okay, it was just a hobby till then. And then I started telling my guys, change this for me, use this color stone, and they would. And artisans in India don't like to hear, change this, because they feel they've done it right.
Well, and they're artists too, right? So
I would tell them change this and change that, and I would come up with designs, and then I would realize, when you actually sit down to make them, it's not possible.
How interesting.
And then I started traveling to Bali a lot.
Okay. And is the restaurant business still going while you're doing all of this?
My husband he's still in China.
But you're flying now. You're like, you have so many orders and you're going in and doing hands-on and fulfilling all these. Wow.
He's still running the restaurant business in China. And
Okay.
I decided to do what my heart desired to do.
Which is very unusual. You're outside of the box in terms of traditions in India. I would assume that, and tell me if I'm wrong, that women are going to be still maybe a little more subservient to the husband's career, or is this not that unusual?
But I come from a generation where first you listen to your granddad and dad, then your husband. But I decided to. Yes, Indian society is still very
patriarchal.
Very patriarchal. Having said that, things are changing. The newer generation, they're more equals. But our generation still, somewhere that thought process comes, oh, you have to put everybody else first.
Right. Okay. So, this takes you then from India. I know you're in Indonesia, you're in Shanghai, and Shanghai is really where, and I love this, you found yourself in Shanghai.
Myself in Shanghai. I was a very shy person, friends, but old friends. Okay. And Shanghai was a melting pot of nationality. I'm so happy and so proud that I have friends all over the world of different nationalities. And so many times, my close friends would say, you end up making friends with your clients and you lose your business.
Wow.
Shanghai is where I came to my truest potential.
Yes.
I met myself.
Wow. That's wonderful. And so Shanghai too is where you started to dip your toe into the whole jewelry and you moved from the clothing line into, so tell us about that. Why jewelry, or how did that happen? And
being an Indian brought up in a certain kind of family, we would, if we had to go for a wedding or party, we would decide our jewelry first, then our clothes.
Okay, jewelry first and then your outfit. Okay, that's completely different.
And Indian weddings are like the big fat Greek wedding. 7 days, 8 days, depending on the family's background and financials. So you have to plan your outfits. And then coming from a small town, living where I was living, and if there were 2 weddings in a season, you couldn't be caught dead wearing the same outfits.
Wow. So that's okay. That's also culturally very different. I know, or at least for me, I would decide what it is I want to wear and then some jewelry to accompany what that is. So for you and within the Indian culture, it's quite different. You don't wear the same jewelry twice. You wear a lot of it. And it is the primary driver of fashion, is what I hear you saying. Okay, so where did the jewelry come from then? You're in Shanghai, you've already done,
wearing jewelry, and we would go to these school fairs and sell our clothes and people would come. I started adding bits and pieces of jewelry.
Okay.
I wanted my store to have more than just clothes.
Right.
So I started a homeware line and I started a jewelry line. So I started buying from Bali first. I started with jewelry because it was more affordable. Okay. Then I started buying from India, and then I would go there, I would source from people, and then I met gemstone cutters, I met manufacturers, I met artisans. Slowly, I started doing it.
Okay. And so did you find yourself, were those stones pulling you? Like, how did this, because you're all in for jewelry now. I mean.
So the jewelry was basically the colors.
The colors.
Which drew me. And then when I would just sit with the stones, I just zone out. Okay. I would just zone out. And I realized it became very therapeutic for me. Like, I could actually meditate. Okay. Even now, when I sit with my stones, I can sit for hours. But if you tell me to draw a design, it doesn't come.
Okay.
The moment I see the stones, it just happens.
Oh, that's beautiful. So, and that's probably a testament to truly the most creative out of the box designers is they all have their methods. You find what it is. But what I love about this is at the same time you're discovering stones and jewelry, there's another transformation happening. We're starting to talk about words like healing and about creativity that you didn't have before in your life in the same way. Um, I think that's what makes you so fascinating. Tell me, can we go into the healing part um, here?
Colors are healing. We all know every color
Yes.
in my chakra healing series of stones. We are nothing but energy.
Okay, I like that. I agree. We're energy. Mhm.
Yeah. So what we wear, what we eat, what we think.
True. Okay, so tell us about before you explain all the healing parts, like what do we know about colors and types? Because anyone, I'm going to suggest that they look at your Aradhana underscore Arra. I want them to go to your Instagram feed, but tell us about the colors and the association. And I'm holding up my almost like my Wonder Woman band here, of purple and gold.
Favorite stone too.
Yes.
One color purple. Purple is a color of divinity, angels, healing.
Mm,
Everybody
okay.
knows that. And
Yes.
it's related to your third eye and your crown chakra.
Okay.
Basically, it energizes and puts into action your upper body chakras. There are, I think, something chakras, I don't remember as such, but the main 7 chakras we all know about. So I never look at my jewelry. I never looked at my jewelry in terms of the stones I'm using. But over the years, I've realized I get attracted to labradorite, which is a very powerful healing stone. I get attracted to amethyst, connecting with the higher self. I get attracted to howlite, connecting to your higher self.
Ah, okay. And is it just so I hear what you're saying, and I know there's rose, there's all different types.
Relationship for your heart chakra. Clear quartz is basically for the higher the crown chakra. So I feel when you wear the jewelry, now
Yes.
according to traditional Hindu astrology, the soul has to touch your skin.
Oh, okay.
However, having said that, I don't think I suggest wearing it.
Mhm.
It's like this. When you're feeling down and under, and if you wear a dull t-shirt, you feel your energy goes down.
Yeah. So true. So true. Yes.
When you wear red and an orange, you walk into a room, you feel the whole room is looking at you.
Well, you're right, and they probably are. Those colors like bright yellows and neons and things, you stand out.
My
You do.
favorite color is red.
Is red. Red's a beautiful color. You got to get the right one though. Every woman knows this, even when it comes to lipstick and right?
I will wear red lipstick.
Ah, okay.
I will
Why?
wear shoes with an all white outfit or an all black outfit. I will wear red shoes.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I like
I
that
love
too.
I love working with things. So yes, so when you wear a piece of jewelry, not only is it personification of your self, your true self, but it
Yes.
also at some point changes your energy.
Yeah.
Each stone attracts and repels energies. So it depends.
Okay. So if I get up in the morning and I'm feeling really blah, I'm like, "Oh God, it's only Thursday. I feel like it should be Friday." What if let's just say in a perfect world, I have all those colors, I've got something within my own sort of collection. What do I grab to make me feel
Grab a clear quartz or a citrine.
a citrine or a clear quartz? Because the energy from that, is that what it's going to do? It's going to revitalize?
I believe that lighter colors, lighter stones
Ah.
clear your passages, clear your energy channel.
Okay, that's really interesting. So light actually it takes the stress off, makes you feel lighter, and maybe the heavier dark stuff is going to be the deeper rooted.
Awakening, connecting to yourself. This is what
Right,
I have no
right.
authority. It's just what I go by. Can I
Yeah.
show you something?
Oh, I would so love this. Yes, yes, please. This is fascinating, and always when we do these interviews, I let the conversation go very organically because I think that's where we find the really good stuff. Okay, so what do you got for us here?
Stones. So this is what I got done in a clear quartz.
Okay, so I can see that. That's beautiful. Okay.
It's carved. It's got grooves.
Okay, got it.
Right?
Okay, yes, clear grooves. See it?
Now I'm sitting with it. It's been sitting. It goes everywhere. And now finally I know what I'm going to do with this.
Oh, okay. What are you going to do with it? I got to ask now. You're begging the question.
I'm going to make stones and put it all around here. Different colors.
Yes.
Mostly, I think blue and green.
Oh, beautiful. I like that combo. And so how do you know that? This is great. This is, the mind of Aradhana as she designs, she finds something here. You get the sense of what it is. Do you meditate sort of over this and then it comes to you?
On my desk. These have been sitting on my desk for some time. Today only they went in the cupboard because now I know what I want to do with them.
Okay. So the process is you've got these, you know how to do it. And do you send this out to people to cut this and do all this for you? Is that how it happens?
Stone guy to cut various shapes.
Okay.
He did it for me. And I just told him, this is what I want. I want lines.
I see. Okay. So lines, so interesting. And then I know that you put collections together as well. Is this just something the stone finds you and you design? Yeah. I
like hues.
Yes.
Because they come in various hues, and tourmalines have a lot of healing properties. A black tourmaline is for keeping away negativity, to enhance positivity, for healing.
Okay.
Pink tourmaline has a different significance. The green tourmaline has a different significance. So when I use multi-tourmalines, I feel I'm giving a client all aspects of colors.
Wow.
And healing.
Oh, so interesting. I never see it that way. And I think I've probably always seen jewelry as accents to my clothing, not driving it the same way. So what do you suggest for any woman or man that goes into a store and either they're looking for themselves or they're looking to buy a gift for someone, or maybe I should say not going into a store, going to your site and looking at what you have. How should we buy? How should we purchase?
So, for anything,
Yes.
whether it is clothes, you have to get something which bites, which just invites you.
Invites you. Okay.
And you look at a piece, you know you want it.
Yes. Okay. So it attracts you in some way, and maybe there are some unconscious.
Again, if you go with the feeling that I have to buy any one accessory today, you will end up buying any. But if you go with the conscious mind that I have to find something which helps me to represent who I am, you will find the right place.
So I hear a couple of things here. One is the expression. If it's for you, it's an expression of who you are.
So I feel a jewelry is a tool to express who you really are.
Right.
That's why I want women all over the world, various nationalities, different ethnicities, because that's a challenge.
Yeah, I know you're right, especially today. We're living in a world where, we're closing borders and we're not harnessing the beauty of getting to know people from different cultures. We are just isolating in the way that we're isolating at home, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So jewelry has a lot of healing in it. Also, when you buy something which speaks for you, it's close to your heart. Then everything is close to your heart.
Right. I love this. I love the idea of chakras. It's something that's fascinating to me. I've often thought I would like to go, and I'm not sure, to what extent you know about this, but that there are different chakras of Mother Earth, that there are places around the world where you get a certain sense of feeling that is maybe similar to what happens with your interaction with a gemstone.
Absolutely. I feel, I don't know, see, according to Hinduism, some of the temples are made points, magnetic fields, where the magnetic energy is the highest. And the inner sanctum sanctorum is made on that point.
Interesting. Yeah.
I'm sure the church, mosques, they are made at those.
Yes. Well, I can see that. I definitely can see that. I mean, having visited the Vatican, there's definitely a certain feeling when you walk into history, and prayerful people that have, really have faith beyond what the ordinary person has often.
Very strange that we are talking about this today, because just yesterday I got an order to make for somebody. I think it's some Mayan symbol, and I have to consecrate it with white light.
With white light. Yeah. How
I
do
don't.
you concentrate? Okay.
I
Consecrate it.
have no idea. I'm going to try and figure it out.
Well, I'm thinking outside. I know, having been to Mexico City, too, I mean, the history of Aztecs and Mayan culture is so steeped in the sun. It's so steeped in the sun. And, there's fascinating stories I won't sidetrack, but I mean, women were the highest in the order of teachers and shamans and,
So stones have a lot of healing power, but we need to see them as that and not as
yes.
adornment.
Well, you're right. You're right. It's not something we worship. It's something that helps us to get to our better, higher, more prayerful self. Yes, and feel good.
I don't have it with me right now. So I was once in Bali in a very, very small shop, and I found a lapis globe. Probably literally a round ball, probably 2 mm, 3 centimeters in diameter.
Okay.
Rose, I went round and around and around, and I just came back to that. It's like Mother Earth in that little ball.
Yeah.
And I still have it in my living room.
Yeah, it's fascinating how that happens. I've had the same experience. I went into a print shop, and I don't know why, but I love these, and they were just cheap. They were like £10 or something in London. And about a year after that, I did a story on a woman named Helen Dryden, and these were old Vogue covers from the 1920s. And they grabbed me. And then fast forward a year later, I'm doing a story, and I realize I bought these copies of a woman who was incredibly fascinating and sort of helped me as I learned about her.
It happens for a reason. So when a stone comes to you, it finds the right client as well.
Wow.
So for me, the journey doesn't finish with designing. It's the art. Like I'll tell my client 100 times, please look after it, do this, do that.
So it doesn't, and this is what I hear you saying, because I think, we're going to see so much digital online shopping. Sipping on Stories isn't a place where we sell things or we advocate that. It's about the healing stories or about the incredible journeys that women and men go through. And so the beauty of what I hear you saying, Aradhana, is that you want people to find what makes them feel happy, what lifts them up, what helps them maybe to heal, and that you care after they buy it. Do people come back? Do you have repeat customers that come back?
I have a lot of old clients who've just been buying. And probably that's the reason I don't venture out and look for new people. I don't.
Okay. You don't need to.
So organically. I don't go there and sit and advertise coming. It just happens. So just the other day, somebody ordered, a very young girl ordered a pair of earrings with me. She didn't want it. She wanted cash on delivery. So it went on for 10, 15 days. I finally got it delivered to her. And the next day she sends me a message. Oh my God. And I was like, what happened? She says, 100 times more beautiful than what they were looking on the website.
Lovely.
So that digital, I don't think you can buy jewelry digitally, because then the stones don't speak to you. The colors don't speak to you.
Yeah.
Then you're buying just anything.
Right. Well, unfortunately, we might have to continue to do this. So, if they're that beautiful, and I think that's the thing about your designs, they're really out of the box. They're not the typical designs. I think that speaks to your background, and that's maybe a great sort of full circle for us that you've really found a way to live a very open life in terms of your heart.
Well, there are times when I do say that I think out of the box. I tell my artisans, I'm going to share a very small story. What I say to my artisans, I tell them, imagine if there's a bomb and a place gets bombed, everybody's running to the right. I will be
Yes.
the only one running to the
left. Honestly, that's a great analogy. And I think that's it really does separate the thought leaders today, that you are not going with the herd.
I don't. They'll tell me in Hindi and English, madam, this is not how it works. And I'll tell them, no, I'm sorry. This is how I want it.
I like that. Yeah, this is not how it works. This is how I work.
All about quality. And sometimes I do wonder, Rose, is there a box? Do we need that box?
Yeah, you're a great thinker. Even calling something a box and saying we think out of it is already creating a label, isn't it?
Yes. So yes, one has to march to their own beat. It's difficult. Every day is a new challenge and a new adventure. But live in the now and design in the now.
Live in the now, design in the now. And you don't have to be designing jewelry. You can be just designing your own life, can't you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to design a life. See, if I have 20 people in my life, if I'm not happy, those 20 people are not going to be happy.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
I'm going to be at some point sitting and whining. Oh, this didn't go right, that didn't go right.
Yeah, well, and you're right. I mean, it's easy to whine, isn't it, too?
Very easy.
Yeah.
My philosophy is you fall down, get up, dust your clothes, and walk again.
Yeah, I love it. And you've got people around you that will help you get up. Yeah.
Always.
Lean on them.
Because when you are dispelling that energy, you attract those people.
Well, I couldn't say it better. I think so too. That's where it's like a magnet, isn't it? You know.
Thank you.
Well, I feel the same. I know this laws of attraction of like-mindedness. So if you want to build positivity in your life, you got to put it out there, and you're going to have it come back to you 5, 10, 20-fold, won't you?
What you put out comes back to you.
Yeah, I completely agree. Oh, all right. This is a good note to round off, I think, our conversation. I honestly, what's left in the future? Are there any parting things that, I'm thinking about all the young people right now too, because I think that COVID is really tough. There are so many people out of jobs and young people that they don't know what to bank on for the future because it's not what it was for you and I, the same opportunities. It feels very heavy. What do you tell them? What do we tell them?
Live in the now. It's a very difficult practice.
Yes.
Live in the now and be happy with what you have, not what you don't have.
Yes. That's great. Build the real.
Mindful of what we eat, mindful of what we say, mindful of what we do, mindful of what we wear.
Perfect. Yeah. And be open. Be open. Yeah. Don't be afraid.
That no, this is the way I want to be fluid.
Yes.
Go with the
flow. Nice. Okay. And maybe have some nice gemstones to help you go. Thank you so much. What a pleasure to talk with you.
Thank you so much, Rose. Thank you.
Okay. All right. And I look forward to another conversation again. We'll see where you are in a few months. Thank you. Have a great night there. And I'm starting my day off perfectly thanks to you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks again. Bye-bye. You never know where the conversation is going to go. I'm going to just start there. Sitting with her, I can't even tell you, just through the interview, there's a calm sense of peace that I get in speaking with Aradhana. And when you look at her jewelry, there's no kickbacks here or anything. We're looking at who the person is and what their story is. When you look at her designs, you see just a very fluid sense of freedom. And I think that's what I really like about her. So chakras, no chakras, healing, Just be open, go with the flow. She said some really great things. So that's what I'm going to suggest, that all of you listening to today's episode, you go with the flow. I want to thank you so much. I hope you got as much as I did out of this interview. I want to remind you to make sure that you go back to Sipping on Stories and you hit that subscribe button. Also, that you give us a 5-star rating. If you like what you heard, we talk to people from all walks of life from around the world. So give us a 5-star so other people are curious and come back too. And don't forget to go back to sippingonstories.com and take a look at the show notes. We'll have a list there of some of the things, the connections and related links for you to see what Aradhana does. Have a great day, everyone. I want you to know that you are loved, that you matter, that every single day, the best thing you can do for yourself is to take the biggest sip out of life that you can. Look forward to talking with you again on our next episode. Take care, everyone. Be well, and that's a wrap.
Sipping on stories.